Do you know what's not a good sign for a movie? When 20 minutes of footage of it is cut out, when, despite the previous film being in colour, this one returns to black and white, and when it's got that much stock footage from other movies, it just makes itself irrelevant. Today we're going to be going through the Americanized version of Varan, called Varan the Unbelievable, and it's definitely my least favourite kaiju movie so far. At this moment in time, I've gone through around about 20 of the films I'm going to be reviewing. I'm not watching them in order because I watched all the Heisei films first because they're great, obviously the Americanized versions, etc. And so far the shower period, because I've still not watched All Monsters Attack, this is very poor. After watching this, it's kind of obvious why Varan only appeared for like a 5-second cameo in Destroy All Monsters. It's because his movie is not very good. But saying that, I do like the design of Varan and stuff, as I'm going to explain in this video, so let's just head straight into this review. Oh, this movie when it comes to its plot and characters is so bad. There's literally nothing here. The entire film literally just revolves around Bradley is an American person who does a lot of weird shit, and then Varan appears, they watch the film Varan, basically, the original cut, and then it ends. There's no substance here. The film drags on very aggressively. It is genuinely just Bradley and his friend and Anna basically just doing all these experiments. There's not much else to do, especially with the actual character of Varan. It's very slow paced. The first 40 minutes hardly even includes Varan at all, apart from some bubbles in the water. You're just following some very bland stock characters, full of very irritating stereotypes that do nothing else. I can't even really tell you what the rest of the plot is about because of how much this version butchered the original, which even that I've heard isn't actually the best kaiju film, not by a long shot. But it really does bog it down because there's not even a plot in this one. They're just watching bits of the original Varan, following the creature for some reason and getting themselves caught in the middle of it despite not actually impacting anything else. And it's very slow once again. There's so much slowness in this. The only thing I can kind of bring for a theme for this movie is maybe it was meant to be satire but just wasn't done very well, as Bradley's experiments especially can easily follow the storyline of the actual Manhattan Project, which created the nuclear bomb. But apart from that, there's nothing here. Nothing at all. Now, time to go to an even worse bit of this movie, and that's the characters. The American version of this film follows 4 new characters, if I remember correctly, but none of them are interesting as said previously. A lot of the cast from the original are either cut out completely or renamed, which is a little bit racist in my opinion. The film revolves around James and Anna Bradley, 2 of the most bland American characters ever. Bradley's entire character is he's an American. Not just any kind of American, he's the most aggressive American stereotype I've ever seen. One day he'll vote for Trump, the next day he'll go out and drink all the beers with all the boys, day after that he's going to shoot up a school, and then the final day of the week he's going to shag his sister. And his wife is literally just there to shout out bits of exposition and once again for the 4th time in a row to be the female love interest. Kishi is also a very boring character. He just agrees with whatever Bradley says and then follows them. Like, about halfway through the movie it's shown how ineffective Commander Bradley is at being a commander, but yet Kishi still follows his every word. And it's so fucking frustrating. But there is one part which is even worse than this. There's a kid character introduced in the Americanized version, who's on screen for like 5 minutes. He does nothing except show that Bradley's a bastard when he threatens to beat the child. I know this was 1958, but come the fuck on. What is happening in this film? One of the characters in the original cut, called Kenji, who is the main protagonist of that movie in this version, appears on screen for like 5 minutes, and is renamed Paul. This movie went so far to rename characters to Americanize them more, which is so fucking racist. But there's one thing that gets even weirder with the renaming of these films, because the other character still gets a Japanese name, but it's a different name. The original character of Eureka is nicknamed Chidori. It's still a Japanese name, but they changed it, which is really fucking weird. And no joke, these two characters have nothing to do in this version of the film. They literally appear for like a minute close to the start, and then at the very end when Varan's obviously defeated. That's all they do. This is awful, awful characterization, and the acting is pretty bad, especially from the kid, and it really doesn't get any better from here. Despite the amazing improvements that was made between Godzilla and Rodan, Varan does nothing of that. It's the most generic, still cameras, take the shot, shot's over, move on. I can't really say anything else to this. It's not good. It even reuses stock footage from previous movies. Godzilla slamming his foot through buildings in the original is reused in this, and if you watch kaiju movies, it stands out that little bit more. But even if you don't, like my partner who doesn't watch them often, he could tell that that was a different monster's leg for certain shots. Why did they choose to do this apart from budget? I don't know, but I'm guessing it was budgeted since they cut out all the colorizing and just wanted to quickly release something for, like, the year. It's bad. Moving on. Do you like movies that are set just in a forest and do nothing else throughout the whole movie? Then you'll fucking love this. Literally the only set in this version, apart from at the very end where it uses mostly stock footage from the original film before it was Americanized, is a very crappy looking hut, which was obviously made by a production designer who had went out for a lot of drinks the night before, and I was like, shit, I need to make something quickly. Once again, nothing really to say. The city at the end is great, but everything else in this movie, since that's about 10 minutes of it, is bad. Even the town that gets destroyed by Varan, bad. Awful miniatures, does nothing at all to help the film. Once again, just moving on. Special effects, another big problem. Miniatures, as I said earlier, look dirt cheap. The wooden huts that are used for Varan's original attack look like they could fall over if some medium-sized wind hits them. They just crumble. It's very boring, very basic. There's just nothing good here. It's very bland. It looks a lot more like model work than miniatures. That's not a compliment. The original films for both Godzilla, even Godzilla Raids Again, and Rodan, their miniatures at least look realistic. These ones look like they were made 2 days before shooting. The only real compliment that I can actually give them is that certain bits for like explosions and stuff like that, they're good. I mean, all they're really doing is just putting a small bomb in the miniatures, but they went off at the correct times. It's alright, and obviously the stock footage used in the original Godzilla movie is great, and it just kind of stands out about a little bit more how dirt cheap this was, with the miniatures from the original Godzilla being shown, compared to the ones in Varan. This movie's not getting any better. I'm starting to think this film was put on this earth just to torture me. Even Ikaro Ifube has betrayed me here. The score for Varan is bad. Like, even the Americanized version, which kept most of his tracks in, it's bad. You could tell that he's just reused stuff from both the original Godzilla and from Rodan. He didn't care. It's literally the music you've heard before, just recycled, slightly remixed. There's nothing good here either. And this is normally the part of the movie which is good, especially when Ikaro Ifube is involved. That's how little Toho cared about this film. You know, during my Rodan review, when I said how much better the sound effects were, somewhere between that 2-year distance between Varan and Rodan, they stopped caring. Now, I'll openly admit this may just be because it's the Americanized version of the film, but every single sound effect in this movie sounds like it was recorded through a tunnel. It's very off-putting. Even the audio recordings from the cast and characters, etc., they sound off. Some of the lip-syncing doesn't, like, mix together. Some of the sounds just don't happen at all, especially when Varan's destroying that little town that I mentioned earlier. This film is so lazy and rushed. Now, once again, I'm not sure if this is just because it's the American version or not, but it looks bad, it sounds bad, and I'm very unimpressed by how little this movie gave a fuck. Finally, almost towards the literal end of this review, I find something I actually like about Varan, and that's Varan. The kaiju design in this movie is pretty good. The only real drawbacks is that a lot of it's been done before, but Varan itself is quite scary to look at. It's done very well, and I do like the design. I wish it was used more. Even if the original film like this sucked, Varan's cool enough to at least get some more cameos, more sequels, etc. Just improve on what sucked in this one. Because it's a cool design. It looks a bit like it was inspired by the creature from the Black Lagoon, which is one of my favourite black and white movies, and this doesn't really disappoint. Like I said though, the only big drawback is none of it's really original. A lot of it does seem to stem from other characters. In the Japanese version of the film, which I did watch but decided not to review that version, so the American one, they show Varan flying, which we'd seen before in Rodan. His actual design itself, when he stands up, it looks a lot like Godzilla. When he crawls into all fours, it looks a lot like Anguirus, so there's not really much original, but for the stuff that's both original and not original, I still quite enjoy it, and it's probably the only reason why I could actually get through this movie and review it, because otherwise I was very close to giving up by this point. But Varan's great, love design. I'm very sad they didn't get more appearances in future films. And now we're back to the parts of the movie which suck ass. These fight scenes are bad. As said earlier, everything in this movie looks dirt cheap. The military attacking him, boring as hell. Most of the stuff at the end of Tokyo that actually shows pure destruction is stock footage. The attack on the village, because the miniatures look so shit, does nothing. I do have to kind of like it at times, especially for the final attack, because some bits of it do look pretty good when it's not stock footage, I will state that. And Varan's actual demise is great. It's just everything else. Massive drawback. It is a real shame about this film because it could have been so good. In total, I'd say that Varan the Unbelievable is only unbelievable for how bad and rushed this film was. Toho obviously just wanted to make a quick buck, which is why we went back to black and white. That was kind of a first indication, and it's not good. It's not. The only real positive of this film is Varan itself, which is an amazing design. Everything else about it, though, is either very average or very bad. Like, there's no other way around it. It's not a good film. I did not enjoy this at all. Even at 70 minutes long, which is a version I watched for this review, I found myself bored. Your movie sucks, I'm sorry. Varan the Unbelievable, I know it has a fan base. Not my kind of movie, absolutely boring dreck. So, without any kind of regret, I'm going to give Varan the Unbelievable a 2 out of 10. This movie sucks more than Godzilla 1998, I'm sorry, but it does. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this, please be sure to like and subscribe. Follow my Facebook page. It's either going to be Jack's Reviews or The Horror Critics, God knows by this point. If you head up here, there'll be a playlist of all my other Godzilla/Godzilla related reviews. And if you head down here, then it'll be a playlist of my old Jackson Review stuff. On Tuesday, we're going to be going through Mothra. Until then, I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you all on Tuesday. Goodbye.